Welcome to Global Risk Community Chat. Today our guest is Branko Džakula. I'm very happy to have you here today, Branko. Welcome.
Hi, it's great to be here and thanks for inviting me.
Yes, thank you for joining us. So before jumping into topic, let's start with a small introduction. Could you briefly introduce yourself to our audience?
Yeah, absolutely. Hi everyone, I'm Branko. I'm coming from Montenegro, and I've been involved in information security management professionally for over a decade. However, I did start my career in security operations, penetration testing, red teaming, and let's say more hands-on security activities. But very quickly, I shifted my career towards security management, as I was really keen on getting that full scope, of security impact for the organization and building security programs from the ground up. And most recently, I've been involved in working with startup environments, startup companies, and building their security programs in different industries and markets, let's say in the last 5-ish years. Yeah.
Sounds quite diverse in terms of industry, but also in terms of function. Sounds really fun, actually.
Yeah, absolutely. Quite a lot of different environments,
Yeah,
which I think was the most valuable thing
yeah.
in the career
Well,
so far.
with this diversity, I'm curious, what topic would you like to share with us today?
Well, I would like to share some of the observations that I've had over the past years maybe the insights on why the companies are or are not implementing security programs correctly. Like, what are the drivers behind this? What decisions lead to expanding their security programs, and what are some things to be really careful about, which is pretty much applicable for any organization, any type, at any given time.
Yeah. Sounds quite broad, actually. So let's start with it then, and maybe get into some key aspects when it comes to like all this.
Right. Well, yeah. I can maybe start with this why aspect, actually, and I think a lot of listeners would hopefully not, but reflect with these aspects, and that is the wrong reasons of choosing to implement information security, and how to avoid it. And one of the most predominant reasons that lead to spotty implementation of your security program is implementing it for the reasons of chasing compliance. Now, I know this is the most common thing that organizations do, as they have security compliance requirements imposed on them by either contractual requirements from their partners or regulatory requirements in the markets where they operate. But chasing the checkboxes of a compliance requirement usually leads to a very high level implementation of security, and they never go into that deep dive of advancing those security controls and really living the security policies. They usually are left as a dead letter on paper, and not something that is distributed towards the entire towards all the employees, or implemented fully, for all the requirements that you have in these policies. So I want to reflect here that the right reasons for implementing security program should always be to secure your most critical infrastructure and data, and to really chase good results in these security controls. And the foremost thing that the companies should focus on is building a security aware culture, and this is getting everybody in the company on board on the security program. This is usually done through intensive communication from the top management. So their commitment to security is essential and needs to be the first point. And the second point is to distribute this communication through maybe your security champions or key people in different departments that would further spread the message of security importance. Once this very essential cultural shift is done, implementing actual controls, implementing specific policies, it's a matter of just extra work. It's not a matter of convincing somebody that this is important, because this is the initial part. When done right, everybody's working in your organization to improve the security, and not just like one person, like a CISO, security officer, or just somebody from IT that got delegated, to implement security. So, so this is maybe the biggest thing I've seen that is keeping companies, chasing the security rather than advancing with it. And maybe that the most important thing for the top management to realize is that security programs should never be seen as a cost center, as something that is wasting money. It's actually today quite a different story. Security program, if implemented right, if marketed right, if used in sales and promoting that your company is doing good security, is actually a profit generator. It's actually something that effectively can sell your services and or product better by, let's say, bragging that your security at the company is well practiced. You're following either ISO 27001, you have a SOC 2 report, or you're following a NIST framework, whichever is the best fit for the organization. This is, a choice that the organization can make. But the end goal is that it's really something that is an absolute benefit for the organizations today, especially if they are providing digital services and processing sensitive data.
Yeah, absolutely. And especially with the part you said, how, like companies shouldn't be seeing this as a cost. They should be seeing this as, like more than that. I completely agree, because I think security is a good security is a good advantage for, like a lot of your stakeholders, clients, and also, and I think it's a very added value that you can bring in. So yeah,
Absolutely.
I hear a lot of also like why, like reasons why, and also some how to implement these things. So I want to follow up with that. So if you were to share one takeaway point with our viewers to start implementing on maybe a bit more detailed on the how to part, what would be the first takeaway?
Right. Yeah, that's definitely a question that keeps coming up. It's okay, where do I start? Aside from this cultural aspect that I mentioned, which you will never find in that relevance in any framework, as frameworks are built, with specific to-do lists and specific statements in the standard of what you need to have. They do say you need to have security awareness, for example, but the essence here is the security culture shift. However, the first thing the companies should do is pick a framework and stick by it, as they don't need to reinvent the wheel. They don't need to go chasing articles, best practices. There are already written, very well written frameworks that can guide you from 0 to 100 of how to implement a security program in your organization, and of course adapting those requirements to your size of the organization. If you're just a small startup or a big enterprise, is definitely a lot of adoption going on. But picking a specific framework should be really the first point, as it will be your reference guide, it will be your project plan, it will be your pretty much guiding document on your journey to implement the entire program and maintain it, which is something companies keep forgetting. Yeah.
Yeah, sounds to me like indeed, like with adopting a certain framework, you can also save a lot of cost and time as well, a lot of resources on that end as well, because there is,
There is.
you don't need to reinvent the wheel. So,
yeah, absolutely. I mean, the biggest challenges I've seen there is, just translating those requirements. For example, if you pick ISO 27001, you should actually get the 27002 and 27003 frameworks, which break down what the ISO 27001 document actually wants you to do. It tells you how to do it. If you pick a NIST framework, it's actually all open source. It's already free, that you can search these documents, and they are very thorough. And also, if you pick a framework, for example, from the BSI family of frameworks, they also have a very similar approach to these requirements. So a little bit of research, a little bit of asking companies that already done it right, for some of the guidance, or asking just a professional consultant, on the way to go is definitely something that the top management should be advised on, and to pick the right one for them. As the beauty is that there are options, and you can really choose what is best for your organization.
Sounds quite great, actually. And since we are running out of our time, I kind of want to conclude it at this high point. So thank you once again for joining us today. Thank you for sharing all your insights. And yeah, it was a pleasure to have you here today.
Yeah, thank you very much. And looking forward to doing this again.
Yes, likewise. Have a great day.
You too.